I met my ex-wife during my flight to Paris. I hadn't seen her in 3 years, yet there she was, boarding the same flight to Paris, draped in designer labels, diamond ring flashing under the cabin lights. She noticed me instantly. That smirk, that tilt of her head. "Still broke?" she asked, loud enough for the row behind us to hear. Before I could answer, she added, "Thank goodness I dumped you. My new husband is filthy rich." The words hit like a blade, but I smiled. Good for you. She thought she'd won. 5 minutes later, the left engine exploded. The cabin shook, oxygen masks dropped, passengers screamed. The captain's voice cracked through the chaos. "Get the pilot from seat 14. She turned to the others, laughing through her mask. "He's just a plumber." 10 minutes later, I had both hands on the controls, and 300 people's lives in mine. End quote. Before the fall. She wasn't always like this. We were inseparable once. Weekend road trips in my rusted pickup, nights eating instant noodles, dreaming of the life we'd build. She'd trace the lines of my calloused hands and say, "I don't care if we're broke, I love you." That was before she decided love wasn't enough. It started small. She stayed out later. New perfume, new friends I'd never meet. The first real crack came the night I found her phone on the kitchen counter. A message lit up. "Paris again this weekend? Can't wait to be in your arms." It wasn't to me. End quote. The truth. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I waited, watched, collected pieces like a craftsman building a weapon. Her business trips matched one man's itinerary, Victor Hale, CEO of an aviation logistics firm. I learned his face, his habits, the way he touched her lower back in paparazzi photos. The final confirmation came one rainy Tuesday. I followed her taxi, parked a street away, and watched her step into a hotel suite with him. She kissed him in the hallway before the door closed. I sat in my car for an hour, rain hammering the windshield, my grip on the steering wheel white-knuckled. When she came home that night, she smelled of his cologne. End quote. The shift. I stopped being her husband that night. I became her reckoning. Divorce was her idea, of course. She thought I'd fight for her. Instead, I signed every paper with calm precision. She left with half the assets. What she didn't know was that I'd moved most of my worth into an offshore account months earlier. She thought she'd ruined me, but I'd been planning something far more educational. End quote. Preparation. I kept tabs on her life after the split, not obsessively, strategically. I learned Victor's business schedule, his investments, his weaknesses. He had one, gambling. A few quiet leaks to the right people, and his debts tripled overnight. Meanwhile, I was building my new life. No longer a plumber. I trained, flight school, commercial license, contracts for private jets. I did it quietly, almost invisibly. When Victor's company was forced to lay off staff and restructure, I was already qualified, already in position, already waiting. 3 months ago, Victor's firm announced a major client meeting in Paris. They booked the flight. I checked the passenger list, and there she was, seat 12C. I made a call, swapped assignments with a colleague, got seat 14B, fate, or something like it, handled the rest. The flight. The explosion was deafening. One engine shredded itself into fire and shrapnel. The smell of burning fuel filled the cabin. The captain's voice called for me by seat number, protocol for off-duty qualified pilots in emergencies. I stood, calm, while she gaped. "You," she spat. "Yes," I said, moving past her. The cockpit was chaos, alarms blaring, one pilot unconscious, the other barely keeping control. We were losing altitude fast. "Dual hydraulic failure," the captain warned. "Then we land heavy," I replied. I took the controls, muscle memory from years of drills. Nose steady, wings level. Every second mattered. The landing. We hit the runway hard, tires screaming, metal groaning under the weight. Emergency crews chased us down the tarmac. When we stopped, there was silence. Shocked, reverent silence. Then an eruption of applause from the cabin. I didn't look for her immediately. I knew she'd come to me. The confrontation. She found me by the terminal window, watching the rain streak down the glass. Her mascara was smudged, her voice small. I didn't know you could fly." I turned to her. "You didn't care to know." Her mouth opened, searching for something to say. Gratitude? Regret? I let her drown in the weight of it. "You laughed when they called me," I said quietly. "But today, your life was in my hands, and I didn't drop you." She swallowed hard. "Why?" "Because I'm not you." I walked away before she could answer. Fallout. News outlets covered the landing for days. My name trended. Interviews, offers, opportunities. Doors that had been closed for years swung wide. Victor? His company's stocks plummeted after whispers of debt mismanagement. He resigned under pressure. Her social media went dark. Rumor had it the marriage didn't survive the month. Closure. Some people think revenge is about destruction. It isn't. It's about balance. I didn't ruin her life. I just let her see the truth she tried to bury. That the man she mocked, dismissed, and discarded was capable of far more than she ever imagined. She'll remember that landing for the rest of her life. And every time she boards a plane, she'll wonder if the pilot might just be another plumber. Final thought? I didn't just save 300 lives that day. I saved mine.